those protests, they just don't hit the same way that they used to. They don't anymore. Why? Because we peep game. These Democrats, we now see what y'all used to do and how we used to fall for it. So now when you do it, it doesn't work. We've already peeped game. National Guards ain't doing nothing wrong. Ain't nobody coming out really complaining about the National Guards. What citizen in DC really has a problem with that? All I've been seeing actually are people in DC talking about how much they love the change. No crime. Who doesn't want crime to stop? Huh? Come on, man. Y'all on some other shit. Seriously. At this point, if you can't see the clear difference between who's for you and who isn't, I don't know what to tell you. Maybe you don't want to see. Maybe you don't want to see. That's how I'm seeing it at this point. I mean, what happened to we were all going back to slavery, y'all? What happened to that? Weren't we all going to be shackled up? Weren't we supposed to be in war? What happened to all this? They make these false claims that are based off of fear that never ever show up. And those of you who are supporting the Democrats, at what point are you going to start questioning these things that they said was going to happen that never happened? Never happened. Wake up, yo. Seriously, how much more knocking on the head do you need? Just wake up. It's not working. They don't like the fact that they're losing control. That's what's going on. They don't like the fact that how they used to move is no longer. President Trump is a businessman. If you follow the money, you'll figure out who's doing what. And that's exactly what he did. They had a problem with Doge. Follow the money. Come on. So at this point, Trump ain't done nothing wrong. He may have done something wrong in their eyes, and I understand that, because if you got a wrong agenda and somebody's coming and fucking up your plan and how you making your money, all right, I get that, but he ain't done nothing wrong. Y'all just got caught. Now y'all trying to gaslight us, make us look in another place when y'all are the ones that are corrupt and being exposed. But I say it like this. At some point, those of you who are in office and have been scamming the people, there's a time coming where you're going to have to, you're no longer going to be protected. You're going to have to walk the streets and face these people that you've lied to. That ain't going to go well. It's not going to go well. What we're getting from Trump is exactly what we voted for, period. So, keep doing what you're doing, President Trump. We love it.
Hey, welcome back. Appreciate you guys pulling up, man. This brother, he's absolutely right. And I'm glad to see there are so many people that are starting to wake up and they are aware of the games that the Democrat Party play and that they have been playing. See, for a long time, people didn't have the ability, one, to speak their mind like this brother, or to receive information from brothers like him who would pose an alternative theory, an alternative concept, right? You only received your information from mainstream media. They controlled the narrative, and that's it. And now the people have the ability to share. And the Democrats despise it. They don't want you to have the ability to share, to give insight, to give wisdom, to point people in the right direction so that they can go do their own due diligence for themselves. Because the reality of it is this: once you start to do your own due diligence, you start to learn from yourself. You can't unsee it. And you will start to understand who's for you and who's against you. Like, share, subscribe. I got a few more videos to share. Let's keep going.
just the brokenness of the nuclear family, the brokenness of the black family, the fact that black fathers are absent, and that young black men turn to drugs and gangs.
How dare
and by the way,
well, the
this
family,
is also
I
true
think the
for the
family
young
in general
white
you
men
can point to. I don't know that one
Minnesota.
race over the other works.
This is also true for the murderer who killed the two young children, a white man. Will you listen to what I'm saying? I literally said the broken nuclear family, both black families.
Don't single out the black family even.
Before Jeffrey goes, I want to say this. These Democrats are some evil, wicked people. Now, that young lady with the glasses talking about some don't say anything about the black family. Do you think that she is a net positive or a net negative to the black community and the black family? I would assume that this is an individual that was a pro BLM individual who, you know, upwards to not too long ago had on their website that their goal was to destroy, dismantle the nuclear family. When you think about black people here in America, and you think a lot about the issues here in America, there will be a bunch of people out there that will tell you it's the white man. There will be a bunch of people out there that will tell you it's white supremacy. No. The main issues that we have right now in our community amongst black folks is the lack of nuclear families. 1 in 4 black women are married. Only 33% of black men are married. Let's just keep it a buck. 77% of black children are born out of wedlock. They're in single parent led households, and typically that single parent led household is being led by a woman. These are also communities that have some of the highest crime rates. Let's just keep it real. What we also know is that when you have a nuclear family, a black nuclear family, the children in that family are only 4% of them are going to find themselves in poverty. We also understand that the household income is going to be up there in competition with every other demographic of family in this country. So when you have people like this that say, no, you better not, and you cannot say anything about the brokenness of the black family, to when there was a time pre-civil rights movement when we were the most married, 85% of households were married, and majority of the children born in those households, we didn't have the same type of issues that we have today. But I'm gonna let my brother Jeffrey Mead cook here.
Black Americans have the highest single motherhood rate of any major demographic in the US, or we could say single parent rate of any major demographic in the US. 53% of black children in the US grow up in a single parent household. Of that 53%, 85 to 90% of them are in a single mother household. There is no father. Now, for context, about 24% of white children grow up in a single parent household, 41% of Hispanic children grow up in a single parent household, and about 17% of Asian children grow up in a single parent household. Just to keep this simple, I'm going to refer to the woman on the right as the white woman, the woman on the left as the black woman. So when that white woman mentioned the black family, you could see a visceral, emotional reaction from the black woman. And we saw that because the white woman spoke an uncomfortable truth about the black community. It's the truth. We have a problem with fatherless homes. We have the biggest problem in this category amongst all the major demographics, as well as we are the most violent race of all the major demographics. We drastically overrepresent our share of the population when it comes to murders, and fatherless homes play a major role in that. I would argue the majority of black women raising children are not emotionally regulated enough to properly raise children. Then you have these mothers who don't regulate their emotions while having multiple children. And many of these children turn out to be boys. So then these boys have no dad in the home, and they're raised by a woman who doesn't know how to regulate her emotions. And this is where these young black men learn emotional regulation. Or we could argue it's why they don't have enough of it. And when boys/men don't have emotional regulation, they become dangerous. That is just a reality. And this is one of the major contributing factors we have to so much violence going on in the black communities. A perfect example of lack of emotional regulation, when that white girl called out the black community, you saw this black woman react emotionally. Boom. Oh, you better not. But it's the uncomfortable truth. Black Americans absolutely have a problem with fathers being in the home. We have a problem with accountability. We have a problem with weight. We have many problems that we like to try to avoid or blame on history, the white man, racism, and slavery. And when we consistently blame everything on those problems, we never actually give ourselves the power to fix our problems. The system has to be fixed. The white people got to be fixed. History needs to be fixed. Everything needs to be fixed but us. We have a major problem with accountability.
Jeff's absolutely right there. He's absolutely right. We have a problem with accountability. And I'm a firm believer that we should be focused on controlling what we can control. So my challenge isn't really to the women. My challenge is to the men. It is time for men to step up and take their rightful place. You can't have strong communities without strong families. Simple as that. We got to get our households in order. We have to. And we got to stop pointing the finger at everybody else. And we got to start looking inward and saying, you know what? I am going to fix and repair what I can fix and repair.
I first started listening to Charlie in 2016. I started listening to him because I was on a search. I was looking at things around me and I knew that something was off. I knew that something wasn't right. So I grew up in a Democrat household. I remember when Obama became the first black president. And yeah, the first black president. But anyways, when that happened, I was at home and we was watching it on TV. And I remember like when we found out that he won, everybody in the house started clapping and like cheering. My mom, like she even got emotional, and I never saw my mom really cared about politics at all. So as I'm clapping right along with my family, I've always been this kind of person. I've always been the kind of person who I don't say much, but I observe more than I say. So I pay attention to things. So in that exact moment, as I'm clapping and cheering with my family, I immediately stop because I'm looking around and I'm like, why? I asked a lot of questions. I turned to my mom and I asked her, I said, Mama, why are we happy? Like, why are we cheering? And my mama said that Democrats have always been the party for black people. So I remember like I took note of that. But in my mind, I was thinking, well, it doesn't seem like they've helped us much because I've seen a lot of patterns in my own family growing up, and not just in my own family, but in the black community as a whole. I pay attention and I see patterns that are not getting better, but are actually getting worse under the Democrat Party. So I took note of that, even though at this time I was in 11th grade and I didn't know nothing about politics. Fast forward to 2016 and Trump was running for president. There was so much negativity coming out of the mouth of people that I was familiar with that I was shocked. I didn't understand what was going on because, I grew up hearing nothing but good things about Trump. I mean, we saw him in the music videos, the black music videos and everything. So I was confused as to why now are we being told to dislike this man? Why now are we being told that this man is a racist? The same man who was appearing in y'all music videos? The same man that y'all spoke so highly of? Something is not right. I started asking questions. And so because I wanted understanding, I went on a search. And that is how I came across Charlie Kirk. And it was through Charlie Kirk's content that I started watching Candace Owens, Brandon Tatum, and Terrence Williams. So through Charlie Kirk's content, I started listening to 3 other voices. All 3 of them were black, and all 3 of them were close with Charlie Kirk. And that is how I started listening to their content as well. But I have not ever, not once, heard Charlie Kirk say anything racist. Everything he said was spot on. Like, I can tell you that as a black person who's been black all my life. And I can tell you one thing for sure. What he was saying was straight up facts. It's just a lot of us don't want to hear it. And that's where the problem comes in, because we want to be stuck in this slave victim mentality, and it is so sickening. Aren't y'all tired? You ain't never been a slave a day in your life. Your ancestors wish they had the type of freedom that you have. And you sitting around here moping and complaining, telling somebody got you oppressed. You don't even know what being oppressed means. And you need to get over yourself.
Sheesh. Wow. She's absolutely right, though. She is absolutely right. If the ancestors from those plantations back in the day had the ability to foresee the future of their people, they would be disappointed. They would be very disappointed. We're talking about people who were denied the opportunity to read and write, to learn, to even read the Bible. And yet we have black people that have turned away from the word of God, that don't go to church. Or we have preachers that are preaching this, black liberation theology. We have a swath of folks that just don't take their education seriously. They would be very disappointed. They would see that, they live in a country where they have all the opportunities at their fingertips and they're not taking advantage. They would be disappointed. You have too many people out here making money off of the grievances of their plight, not taking advantage of the situation that are right there in their face. Those people from back then would be disappointed if they could see it. They would be. I'm not saying that America is without flaw. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is that there is no other place like this. especially for Black people, but to be honest with you, for all people. You got an idea, you can go make that idea come to fruition. This is the one place in the country or the one place in the world that you could legitimately start off at the bottom 10%. And in a lifetime, you can work your way into the middle class, or even better, with hard work, you could work your way into the top 10%. I know that's to be the case. And that doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter how much melanin you have. This is the one country in the world that awards hard work and innovation and being willing to take a risk. Anything worth having is worth working for. My grandfather used to tell me all the time. The word says a man that doesn't work doesn't deserve to eat. We reward innovation, risk takers, and hard work. We reward it in this country. Majority of your millionaires are people that came from nothing, were not handed anything, and worked their tails off. They're the only millionaire in their family. That's the majority in our country, self-made, regardless of who you are. But yet we have still people stuck in this mindset of victimhood. I don't come from that. My grandfather used to tell me all the time, you can do, be, and have whatever it is that you want if you're willing to work for it. I'm sitting in this chair right now because of those words. I've been able to accomplish the things that I've been able to accomplish before here in corporate America because of those words. And I've made some poor choices. I've made some poor decisions. But fortunately, because of prayer, because of praying parents and grandparents, praying spouse, I've been able to overcome some of those challenges that were self-inflicted. And that's the beautiful thing about America. You can stumble, you can fall, you can make some poor choices early on in life, and you can still overcome it. I'm glad to see there's brothers and sisters out there that are seeing through the foolery of the Democrat Party that constantly, consistently wants to tell you because of how much melanin you have, you can't make it. Or you can't make it without us giving you something or giving you a leg up. I reject that premise because I'm a member of the kingdom. And when you are a member of the kingdom, all things are possible. But I want to hear from you guys in the comment section. Like, share, subscribe, turn the notifications on to all so you never miss an upload. Consider joining the ARP family or buy your brother a coffee. That link's in the description box below. I appreciate those that support what we're doing over here at ARP. Join us 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Friday for ARP in the morning. And keep God first, stay prayed up. We'll catch up with you all next time. Peace.
We won't stop. I won't quit. Stand for the truth. No counterfeit. Real ones rise. Let the fake ones split. Repent for the lies. Let the darkness live.